Hi YouTube, it's me, I'm back. I got 5 more things and they're all physical hard copies and they are movies taking the majority this time around, but we got a little bit of everything. So let's start it off as usual with any of the books that may appear. Only book this time is Star Wars: The High Republic, The Fallen Star. This is the third and final of the adult novels in this series, at least the first phase of it, and it takes place after the disaster at the Republic Fair and everything that has gone on. But the Jedi think they had the Nihil on the retreat. They think they are out there chasing its leader, Lorna Dee. Not in fact their leader. Their leader is Marchion Ro. He is hiding in the shadows. He has a senator in his back pocket, and he's about to launch his most devastating attack yet. That attack comes on the Starlight Beacon, one of the Republic's grand master works that everybody has been looking forward to, and it's a technological marvel, of course. Now, Marchion Ro sends, I think it's a team of maybe 3 of his Nihil agents to the station and has them basically sabotage it and fuck with its systems and make it so that it's going to blow up and blow into 2 and then fall into a star and basically explode and kill everybody aboard. And so it's going to be a huge loss of life, and it's going to be the loss of Starlight Beacon. It's going to be a big blow the Nihil are going to put on the Republic with this job. So, but will the Jedi stationed on the Starlight Beacon be able to save it? That's a good question. Stellan Gios, Bel Zettifar, and a handful of others are there, and in the early goings of the sabotage, they sense a disturbance in the Force. They sense something's wrong, but they can't pinpoint it. What's happened is something has been let loose on the station, and it's not dangerous to regular people, but it's very dangerous to Force users, especially powerful ones like Jedi. And when they discover the body of one of their comrades, a very powerful comrade, all shriveled up into a husk, basically like dust, they go, oh, okay, something's wrong here. But this disturbance is also affecting the Jedi's mind, so maybe their decision making hasn't been the best. So it's just this downward spiral of events and bad decisions and whatever that hasten the job that the Nihil pirates are doing to sabotage the station. And basically it's just this fight for survival aboard this station as the sabotage is in place and takes effect, and they try to save it and bring it back, at least if not in one piece, at least in a couple of salvageable pieces, right? And save as much life as possible on board, and all the different strategies and tactics they tried to make this happen. But of course, I may have spoiled a bit of it for you, but I'm not going to ultimately spoil it for you in case you want to read it. Next up, first of the 3 movies on the docket, Black Dog, starring Patrick Swayze. This is a 1998 film that I really liked. I only saw it once or twice back in the day. But when I saw it come up during one of my searches, I was like, yes, please. The story behind it is that in an early scene, the first scene in the movie, you see the FBI and the ATF involved in an operation to try and bring down an illegal gun smuggling ring, and the chase results in the death of the driver that they were trying to apprehend. So there's this big tiff between the 2 agencies on this issue of gun smuggling. So next we meet a guy named Jack Cruz, I think was his name. This is Patrick Swayze. He is working in a truck shop as a mechanic, and we soon learn that he's actually an ex-driver. An ex-trucker who had his license taken away and served time in jail for manslaughter when he killed some people at the wheel. So he doesn't like his new life. He loves driving, but he's having to make do based on what happened. His manager, Frank, offers him one day, I'll give you 10 grand if you head on down to Atlanta and drive a shipment of toilets from Atlanta back up here to New Jersey. Jack declines. He says, I don't even have my license. I can't drive. What if I get caught? Blah, blah, blah. Frank's like, it's okay. Jack still declines. However, when he gets home and he sees a statement on the counter that the house is going to be foreclosed on if they don't come up with, him and his wife, sorry, I'm so yawny tonight. If him and his wife don't come up with a certain amount of cash, their house is going to be gone. So then he's like, I'll take the job. So he heads down to Atlanta. He meets with Red, played by Meatloaf, who is the guy in charge of this shipment. And he gets this old Peterbilt truck, and he hits the road, but he likes to do things alone. But he's foisted upon him is this team of other guys. Earl, who's going to ride with him in the truck, and then Sonny and Wes, who are going to ride behind in this Camaro, ensuring the safety of the shipment. But not long into the adventure, Red turns on Frank and, of course, Jack, who's driving the truck, and is trying to take the shipment back, basically. So I don't know why he even shipped it in the first place, but that part I didn't understand, but whatever. And so it becomes this kind of race and whatever for Jack to get back to New Jersey, fending off all of these attacks from Red and all the hijinks he gets up to, because hidden in this shipment is a bunch of guns, of course. So now a couple of the people on this on this ride with Jack aren't exactly who they say they are. So there's some other curveballs thrown in along the way. I won't give away too much, but it all ends in New Jersey as Jack gets there with his truck. Frank, his former manager, getting pissed off with everything that's going on, has taken hostage Jack's wife and daughter. So we've got a whole bunch of balls in the air here, of a whole bunch of things in play that could go all sorts of wrong if Jack makes the wrong moves as he gets back to home. So, and once again, I won't spoil it for you, but if you like car action movies, especially with trucks running into things and whatnot, it's a pretty good flick. It's not Maximum Overdrive, but what else is, really, right? Whew. Fantastic. Next up, another 80s, or sorry, that was 90s. The first 80s movie of this bunch, Weird Science. 1985 saw this release, and it stars Michael Anthony Hall. You'll remember him from lots of stuff. And he plays like a nerdy high schooler. I think he plays Gary. His buddy Wyatt, they're high school nerds. They're pining over these hot cheerleader types, and they keep getting picked on by the cheerleaders' boyfriends, the jocks, that just keep making these two guys' lives miserable, right? So eventually, one night at a sleepover at Wyatt's house, when Wyatt's parents are away, Gary's like, he's watching Frankenstein, and he's like, Wyatt, we gotta do something. I know, why don't we make a girl? He's inspired by Frankenstein, right? And Wyatt's like, how the hell are we gonna do that? And he's like, with your computer. You got that super computer and whatever. So they hack into the government to get more power to the computer. They hook electrodes and shit up to like this doll and stuff. And lo and behold, they make themselves a girl. A hot girl named Lisa. And she has these magical powers because she's obviously made out of a computer. She becomes quite fond of these two guys, and she wants to help them. So she goes on this crusade to make them into cool guys, loosen them up, get them kind of not nerdy, get them more into the flow and stuff. And it leads these two on just a sequence of events where they get to experience a whole bunch of things that they normally probably wouldn't have, including much alcohol. But in the end, as they're getting cooler, they try to be even more cool, and they end up trying the same process again to impress some guys, don't do it right, and they end up causing this big ruckus that they have to basically sort out before Wyatt's parents get home from wherever they were and find the house in ruins, and Wyatt's brother turned into this Jabba the Hutt looking blob sort of thing. You gotta see it to believe it. So, and Wyatt's brother is played by Bill Paxton, who is amazing, and he's hilarious in this movie. So yeah, I love this movie as a kid. I used to watch it a lot, and I hadn't watched it in many years. And again, I was doing, searching for movies and stuff, and it came up, and I was like, once again, all sorts of yes, right? Here's another one, another 80s movie I watched a ton as a kid, but same thing. Didn't watch it for many years. Came up in the search. I clicked check out now. Top Secret with an exclamation mark. From 1984. This is Val Kilmer's movie debut, I do believe. And it is it's a movie that makes fun of like the old Elvis singing movies, spy movies, World War era movies, and really has kind of like that Naked Gun slapstick goofy kind of feel to it, so basically Val Kilmer plays this American kind of young, hip, sexy, like rock and roll star, and he is invited to come to East Germany to perform in this kind of festival they're having. Now, this festival is being put on by the East German government, who are portrayed as, this is Nazi time, right? And this festival, though, is just a cover for a certain plan they have that they're putting in place, a military plan, of course, that they're going to put in place to bring glory to the German regime, and they're thinking that if they bring this American sex symbol singer guy over to this festival, it's going to distract the whole world with everything they have lined up for this thing. So Nick ends up meeting this girl named Hillary while he's over there at the opening festivities or whatever it is, and she turns out to be this member of a local resistance that's trying to fight back against the East German government. And Nick gets tied up with her, and he gets captured to help get her away. He ends up meeting her father, who is developing these weapons for the Germans that will help really further their cause, but he's doing it against his will because they keep threatening to kill his daughter, who is Hillary, as I said. So there's all these kind of things in play that Nick has to kind of work around and manage and escape and stuff like that. And it's just these sequence of events that this unlikely pair of an American rock star and this secret agent female kind of help save the rest of the world from what could be a bad situation led by the Nazis. So yeah, cool movie, very different. And for some reason I thought it was Johnny Depp who was like the main character, the Nick Rivers. And when I bought it, I was like, oh, it was Val Kilmer. It's been that long since I saw it that I totally forgot. For some reason, I had it in my mind as Johnny Depp, but it was Val Kilmer. So, but either way, hilarious movie. It may not be your cup of tea, because I know like that slapstick Naked Gun kind of humor. You either love it or you hate it. I think it's one of those things, right? So if you don't like that kind of humor, you won't like this movie. But if you do, you'll probably love it. Last thing, a video game. A fucking fantastic video game. A video game that drew me into its web and kept me there, not against my will. Not at all against my will, and the game is Doom Eternal. Doom Eternal. This game, I think they said it's the 6th game in the Doom series, which I'm not sure if that's the case, because there was 1 and 2 on PC and stuff. And then there was 3 on the PS3. Doom 64, that's 4, and then Doom 2016, and then, oh no, this is 6, never mind. So this takes place 16 years after the events of Doom for the PlayStation 4, which was released in the year 2016. Everything it all took place on Mars and stuff. I think I posted video footage of that years ago. So maybe not years ago, maybe just a year or 2 ago, but either way, it takes place 16 years after the events of Doom, and the year is 2163. Basically, all hell has literally broken loose on Earth, and there's been mass casualties of the human population. Like over half of the Earth's population have been wiped out by all these demons and monsters and whatnot. And what's left of humanity is kind of being lorded over by the corrupt UAC, or the Union Aerospace Corporation, I believe it is. There is a local resistance that's trying to fight back against them and fight back against the monsters and everything, but obviously it's not going very well. Suddenly the Doomslayer shows up, and he's aboard this kind of flying fortress that is kind of flown by this artificial intelligence. And it's kind of his home base. So his task is to take down the 3 Hell Priests. I can't remember their names because I probably can't even pronounce them. And try to end this invasion of Earth by doing so. These 3 Hell Priests serve the ultimate being that's behind this whole scheme, named the Khan Maker, who is this kind of demonic, angelic presence that is using this destruction of Earth and Earth's population to ensure the survival of her own. So, but killing the 3 Hell Priests isn't as easy as it seems. The first one's pretty easy, but then once the first one's destroyed, the other 2 are sent scurrying away to try and hide. So, and it's not just on Earth, like they're out in the cosmos, right? So you've basically got to use all your wits and the help from your AI in the fortress to find a way to locate these other 2 Hell Priests after you kill the first one, take care of them before moving on to the Khan Maker herself and kind of ending this thing once and for all. This game was so fun. It was so well done. Everything about it was top notch. Like, the graphics are amazing. The gameplay is fantastic. Not to say the game's not hard, but the controls are perfect. But it's hard. It can be very hard. And the soundtrack, the music, and it's amazing. Everything about this game is just spot on, and the story's amazing as well. I can't remember. There's not that many campaign missions, but that, like I said, even on the easiest mode, the difficulty is pretty high. So you don't just waltz through this game, right? You really have to battle and trudge and find your way through it. And of course, there's lots of weapons available to you. Ammunition isn't sparse, but you really do have to watch it. There's different ways you can generate ammunition by doing certain things. So you really have to get used to all of the Doomslayer's capabilities and equipment, and really strategize the best way to approach each enemy, each situation, for maximum efficiency, and making sure you've got enough energy, you've got enough weaponry and ammunition to see that sequence through. So, but this game was so well thought out and so well executed. I can't say enough about it. If you're not a fan of the Doom series, if you've never played it before, I suggest giving it a shot. And I would suggest starting with the very first game, and working your way up, because it's not I don't think they're all tied in super tightly, but it is a kind of progression, a storyline, right? Like, there's definitely a flow to it. But it would be hard to maybe jump right. Well, no, it wouldn't be. If you play video games, you play video games. But Doom is such an iconic series. I wouldn't want to just hop into it on Doom Eternal, and then go back, right? Like, it's such a fun series, and it has been right from the start. Even the first one way back in the day. Of course, it looks dated now, but it still looks awesome. But back in the day, it was top notch, right? Like, and everything about those early games were fantastic as well. So, if you like first-person shooter games, that sort of thing, these games would appeal to you. If you like monsters and hell demons and plenty of violence, you will love these games. If you just like a really well executed, good looking game, you will love Doom Eternal. So I highly recommend. And the only Doom game I haven't played yet is Doom 64, which, because I didn't know it existed until this past year, so I did download it to my Switch, but I just haven't got around to playing it yet. So that one will eventually be showing up as well. But for now, you're gonna have to do with Doom Eternal, and and all the rest of this shit I have coming up. But I promise I'll get to 64. I promise. Just like I'll get to all my other stuff.